double, F the A, the D, that is, and if you want the solution to the quiz.
What's black and black, yo, and kills another, an ignorant sucker that isn't labeled as a brother but another. So now it's time we evolve and get together and solve it, cause the world is revolving around
a terrible situation. One will kill, another for a reputation. So it's time we stop and realize that we're all the same. Yo, Train, tell them.
We're all in the same game.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Grand Theft Auto.
It might be, because that game was off the hook 10 years ago. And it's been out for a while, but yeah, it's getting out of control, you know. I mean, I know everybody don't have that option. You know, I don't want to give up on Buffalo, but, you know, my thing is, you know, it's nothing for them here. You know, if we don't create something and do it fast, there is no hope. Half these kids have no fathers. They have either been killed or in jail. You know what I mean? That leaves the mother to work all day. And then she, you know, she got to either leave them at home by themselves or to grandma house. Right. You know what I mean? Grandma older. She can't do much, you know, so they can manipulate that situation. It's just getting out of control. We got to go back to the basics. We got to get these kids together ASAP, because they're our future.
And you said that they don't fear anything. They definitely don't fear the police
at all.
I mean, they definitely don't. But my thing is, there is a curfew supposedly in Buffalo. What is it, 11 on the weekends, or is it 12?
I have no idea.
All I know is that when I lived at home, street lights, you better be on that porch. Ain't no such thing as curfew. Street lights was our curfew, and that was usually about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Right.
So now you drive at night and you see kids walking outside doing whatever they doing, and the police are right by. Right by. I think they scared too. Like, seriously.
Because they dropping out of school. The females is out of control. I can't tell the difference between a female and a boy nowadays. All these females dressing like boys. They turning each other out in school. Like, they don't even go to school to learn no more. They go to school to click up, be in the gang. It's just out of control. Like, it's out of control. I don't know.
We need answers. We really need answers, and we need something for the youth. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Monday was Martin Luther King Day, and do anybody know who Martin Luther King is anymore and what he stood for? Like, seriously. They got out of school for what? They're out of school to honor Martin Luther King, and they out here still being off the chain, though. So,
you know, you guilty by association. You know what I mean? Like he said, Aaron Jackson said, they're just not leaders, they're followers. It's all about, you know, whatever's going on at the time, that's what they're going to do.
So, Facebook, Skype, YouTube, whoever is watching this, we need help with the youth. I mean, I personally don't know what I can do to help out, but if there is anything I can do to help out, I will try. Like, that is my passion, to work with kids in a positive way, and, you know, try to teach them and learn from my experiences. But we need men. I'm sorry. We need men.
We do.
While all y'all men, supposed to be men, are out here hanging out on the streets and doing this, that, and the third, if y'all have kids, y'all need to be teaching y'all kids. Like, seriously. Because that's why a lot of kids is going astray.
Have an active role in your child's life. Especially, it's so crazy how advanced it is. My son will be 5 in February, and he goes on the internet. You know how to get to Google, and he'll, whatever website, he know how to type it in. The most he might have you do is write down how to spell something. Like, it's amazing how they learn. So if we give it to them the right way in the right format, they're gonna take it. You know what I mean?
They gotta start young.
You know, we can't just beat them and just tell them, because they were gonna rebel automatically. But, you know, that's why it look like he online.
Let's go over to Skype.
I think the problem is there's a lot of low self-esteem, and kids think that they got to be down. They can't fit in unless they doing what everybody else doing. Everybody want to be tough. Everybody want to have a name. And I think that's just the problem. And when they realize that it's cool to be by yourself and it's cool to not want to hang with people, then I think that's when they decide.
I think there's
there's quite a few issues you can look at that, you know, that may determine what those factors are. And number one, you know, like you were saying before, the way we were brought up in those times, that generation was definitely different. Times were different. Mm-hmm. There wasn't as much of a struggle like there is today. The economy was different.
Right.
You know, the media played a hell of a role today as opposed to the role that it played 10 and 20 years ago and so on.
Right.
So that's for one. I think that it starts from home. And it starts from home because, number one, the parent is going to be the role model. And if there is lack in a parent as far as if there's not a father figure or a mother figure, there's some sort of either nurturing or aggression that's being lacked in that child's life. Right. Now, sometimes, you know, you do have parents say, well, I have a brother or an uncle that plays a father figure in my kid's life, and that's good. And that's great. But a lot of times you often see where that can be a big influence or very influential in that child's life. And also when they got to go to school and the media portrays a totally opposite effect of what you're trying to do. So a lot of times the media and society goes against your parental skills and what you're doing.
We respected our elders.
Right.
Like, if I was doing wrong, throwing rocks, my neighbor would come check me and bring me home to my mama. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, the neighbor can't even check these kids without their mama's
That's right. And like,
and I just think everybody just want to be tough. Everybody just want to, I don't understand why, but they do. They just, don't nobody want to just talk about stuff no more. Don't nobody just want to let stuff go. They just feel like, I got to prove myself.
Right.
all right.
So,
Do you think it's because a lot of them don't have fathers at home or they don't have the right parental guidance?
no, I think it's because they feel they can't fit in unless they do that outside of their home. Because how they act, they probably not even like that at home.
Right.
Right.
They probably just like that when they get around their friends.
And she said earlier, she said peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, like, okay, for example, a girl might want to fight another girl, and then she might not want to be like, okay, I'm going to just let it go. And then her friend's like, oh, you a punk, and I ain't going to hang with you no more, and blah, blah. So now she feel like, oh, okay, I got to prove myself because she don't want nobody talking about her.
Right.
Or she don't want people to be thinking like, oh, I could just push her around.
All right, Mac.
All right, we thank you.
We got in trouble because of our grades.
Right.
And just, you can't watch TV.
Right.
It was, you got your ass whooped in next semester, you better come back with an A.
Right. Period.
That's what they're on punishment.
Do it. The whole summer.
That's coming to get your kids.
Right.
And a lot of times, I've noticed that with a lot of young girls, they still, anywhere they go, they like that attention. Right. And they let some kids get out of hand and be disrespectful to adults. And then they dare you to come at their kid with some shit out their mouth foul or want to hit them or smack them. Especially if you watching a kid, you can't do nothing.
Right.
If I babysitting your kid is in my house.
Right.
Kid's not going to disrespect me.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, and if I find that that's the problem the first time, your kid's not coming back to my house a second time.
Right.
You know, but as far as with the violence that's out here, yes, I do think the media plays a significant role. These rappers, they put certain figures and, well, better yet, images in these kids' heads to make them believe that life can be or could be a certain way for them. So they try to follow that. In other words, they look up to them as role models instead of looking up to their parents as role models. Instead of looking up to people who served our country as role models, our civil rights leaders as role models, our historians as role models, because they may not know much about them.
Right.
Yeah. They may not care to know much, and a lot of times it's because they did something good. And that also tends to explain what the term hater means. If you're doing something good, then they're going to hate, and that's what people pay attention to. If you're not on your P's and Q's, people don't, you know what I mean? They don't give a damn.
Right.
That's true.
So what do you think a solution would be? I mean, just of us in Buffalo.
Some solutions, I believe, would be, certain type of youth programs where you can get more big brother, big sisters involved.
Now, they do.
Role models, and where you can literally take kids out of their comfortable environment and show them different aspects of their town, their city, their state, different states, So they'll see what else is out there that's different as opposed to what they're used to seeing on a daily basis, and them thinking that this is all they got. This is all that they know of. This is all that they can deal with. It can't get any better. It can't get any worse because it's their ignorance. They don't know any better.
Well, Martina, what about the ones that are already involved? Like, the problem is the ones that don't want to be involved. Like, there is, Boys and Girls Club, and there's some youth groups, and them are the kids that parents are in their lives, and they're going to make sure they are a part of that. But what about the ones that's on the street who probably don't have the parents at home who take the time to try to get them involved in that? Because a lot of times, a lot of the parents, like, okay, I'm, 31. I can have me really a 13, 14, 15-year-old child, and I can have a boyfriend that's in the streets. So a lot of households are like that. Like, their fathers are in the streets. They're still drug dealers, so they got their dads in the streets. So why do I got to go to a youth group when you still in the street?
Right.
So that's their role model. So how do you get them kids to get involved in stuff like that when they don't see it at home?
Because a lot of times, even though they don't see it at home, that's when you have to look at it and say the community has to become more involved in these kids' lives. Because nowadays, it's not about just what's happening in the house. It's the whole community that got to be involved.
This is my whole thing. Like, honestly, like, I know the whole brother-sister programs and all that, and the Boy Scouts and this, I think we've done that. Like, it's gotten so out of control. It has to be something more aggressive. You know what I mean? I think
no more because they think it's lame and it's gay.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think like it needs to be some scare tactics. Sorry to say, but these kids don't fear nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it got to be more aggressive. I was just telling Tracy, I don't know if you've seen the show where they had the young girls. They were like 14, 15, 16, and they took them. Yes, and they took them into the jail.
And the woman with the tattoo on her face?
Yes.
Oh, we got to see that.
Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, they need to see it for themselves.
Previews.
Yeah, like, they need to see it for themselves. Like, all that talking, we done with the talking. Like I was telling Swaz, we got to go back to the basics. You know what I mean? All this, they got so much to use now. They got the internet. They got all these video games. They got so many distractions. These kids don't even know how to go outside and play no more.
It was very good. Some people made some very good, legitimate comments. As I end out the show, I just want to say that parents, it is very important that you are involved in your kids' lives. You have to be involved when they're at home. You have to be involved when they're at school. You have to know the type of people they're hanging out with. I mean, and if you have to meet the parents, meet the parents. When I was growing up, I couldn't just go over anybody's house without my mom or dad not knowing the parents and what they were involved with and what they were doing. And teens, just know that when you do something, it's a reflection on your parents. Whether they're good parents or they're bad parents, it's going to be a reflection. So be respectful. Always respect your elders, respect your mom, respect your dad, and just try to be a good example for the kids that are coming up under you. Because unfortunately, I mean, this is my nephew, and he's a teen, and this is my heart right here. So he's very respectful. I have no problem out of this one. He got a little swag or whatever. I guess that's swag. I don't know, but, kids, just be respectful to your elders, and that's all I'm saying. And just know that when you do something, it's a reflection on your parent. And when I was growing up, I never wanted to put my family name at shame by a decision that I made. I made a lot of bad decisions, but I never would do anything in public where it would get back to my mom or dad, because that's just you destroying your family name. And that's where they do that at Wednesday, 7 o'clock. I don't know what the topic will be next week, but this week's topic is very good. And I want to say thank you to everybody who commented and everybody who